Listen up, you. Yeah, I'm talking to you, the woman sitting there, hearing these words, feeling that spark in your chest. This isn't some random moment. This isn't just another day, another speech, another fleeting thought you'll scroll past on your phone. This is it. This is the moment where everything can change. I'm Elon Musk, and I've been where you are standing at a crossroads, staring down the barrel of doubt, fear, and the weight of the world telling you to play it safe. But I'm here to tell you something critical. You're not here by accident. You're here because you're meant to be. You're here because there's a fire inside you, a dream, a vision, a purpose that's been whispering to you for years. Maybe you've ignored it. Maybe you've pushed it down, buried it under the noise of life, work, family expectations, or that nagging voice in your head saying, "Who am I to dream big?" But right now, that whisper is about to turn into a roar. I know what it's like to stand at the edge of something massive and feel the pull to turn back. When I started SpaceX, people laughed. They called me crazy. A private company building rockets to Mars? Good luck, Elon. When Tesla was just a scrappy startup, folks said electric cars would never catch on. I had investors, critics, even friends telling me to quit, to take the safe road, to stop chasing what seemed impossible. But you know what? I didn't listen, and neither should you. Because right now, you're at a pivotal moment, a moment that could define the rest of your life. You can feel it, can't you? That tingle in your spine, that quickening of your pulse, it's not just nerves, it's your future calling, demanding you pick up the damn phone. Let me be clear. I'm not here to give you some fluffy pep talk. I'm not about platitudes or empty promises. I'm here to shake you awake. You, the woman listening to this, you're not just another face in the crowd. You're a force. You're a game changer. You've got ideas, dreams, ambitions that could rewrite the rules of what's possible. Maybe you want to start a business that disrupts an entire industry. Maybe you want to create art that moves millions. Maybe you want to raise a family that changes the world through love and strength. Whatever it is, it's big, it's bold, and it's yours. But here's the kicker. You've got to choose to grab it right now. Because if you walk away from this moment, if you let it slip through your fingers, you might miss the one chance to become the person you were always meant to be. I've been through the ringer. I've had nights where I slept on the factory floor at Tesla, wondering if we'd make payroll. I've watched rockets explode, literally millions of dollars going up in flames, along with years of work. I've felt the crushing weight of failure, the kind that makes you question everything. But every single time I got back up. Why? Because I knew those moments weren't the end. They were the beginning. They were the forge where my resolve was tested, where my vision was sharpened. And you're in that forge right now. The struggles you're facing, the doubts, the setbacks, the people who don't get you, they're not here to break you, they're here to shape you, to make you stronger, sharper, unstoppable. Let me tell you something personal. Growing up, I wasn't the coolest kid on the block. I was a nerd, reading sci-fi novels and dreaming about colonizing Mars while others were playing sports or chasing popularity. I felt out of place, like I didn't belong. um, Maybe you felt that too, like you're too much or not enough, like your dreams are too big for the world you're in. Especially as a woman, you've probably heard it all. Tone it down. Be realistic. Don't rock the boat. Society loves to put women in boxes, to tell you what you can and can't do. But I'm here to tell you to smash those boxes. Burn them to the ground. You don't need permission to be extraordinary. You don't need anyone's approval to chase a dream that sets your soul on fire. Think about the women who've changed the world. Think about someone like Marie Curie, working in a shed with barely any resources, discovering radioactivity and winning 2 Nobel Prizes. Or Oprah Winfrey, rising from poverty and hardship to become a global icon. They didn't wait for the world to hand them a golden ticket. They didn't let rejection or failure stop them. They saw a moment, a chance, and they seized it. That's what I'm asking you to do right now. This isn't just about listening to me ramble. This is about recognizing that you're standing on the precipice of something huge. Something that could not only change your life, but ripple out to touch the lives of others, your family, your community, maybe even the world. I know it's scary. I get it. When I poured everything into SpaceX, I was betting my entire fortune, hundreds of millions of dollars on a dream most people thought was a joke. I was terrified. But fear isn't a stop sign. It's a signal you're onto something big. Every woman listening to this has faced fear. Maybe it's the fear of failing at a new venture. Maybe it's the fear of being judged, of not being good enough, of letting down the people you love. I see you. I know those fears because I've lived them. But here's the truth. Fear is just a shadow. It's not real. What's real is the power inside you, the power to create, to innovate, to lead, to love fiercely, to build something that lasts. Let's talk about what's at stake. If you turn away from this moment, if you let doubt win, you're not just missing out on a dream, you're missing out on the chance to become the fullest version of yourself. The world needs you, not the version that plays small, that stays quiet, that follows the rules. The world needs the you who dares to be bold, who dares to fail, who dares to stand up and say, I'm here and I'm going to make a dent in the universe. That's not just a catchphrase. It's a call to action. When I started Neuralink, people said connecting brains to computers was science fiction, but I didn't care. I saw a future where we could solve neurological diseases, where we could expand human potential, and I went for it. What's your Neuralink? What's the crazy, beautiful, impossible idea that keeps you up at night? I'm not saying it's going to be easy. Nothing worth doing ever is. When we launched the first Tesla Roadster, we were bleeding cash. I was living off loans, eating cheap takeout, and working 100-hour weeks. But every sleepless night, every dollar spent, every moment of doubt was worth it because it brought us closer to a future where electric cars are the norm. Your journey won't be easy either. You might have to juggle a career and kids, fight for respect in a room full of skeptics, or rebuild after a dream crashes and burns. But every step you take, every obstacle you overcome, is building something bigger than you can see right now. Here's a secret: the universe rewards those who show up. When I was a kid, I read about explorers like Magellan, who sailed into uncharted waters with nothing but a vision and a stubborn refusal to quit. You're an explorer too. Your uncharted waters might be a new career, a passion project, a cause you believe in, but you've got to sail into the storm. You've got to trust that the winds will carry you, even when you can't see the shore. I've failed more times than I can count, rockets blowing up, cars delayed, critics tearing me apart. But every failure taught me something. Every crash made me smarter, tougher, more determined. Your failures, they're not the end. They're the fuel for your ascent. Right now, you might be feeling a mix of excitement and fear. That's good. That's the sweet spot. That's where the magic happens. When I stood in front of my team after our third rocket failure, I didn't sugarcoat it. I told them we were going to keep going, keep learning, keep fighting until we got it right. And we did. The Falcon 1 launch in 2008 was a turning point, not just for SpaceX, but for me. It proved that impossible is just a word. You've got your own Falcon 1 moment waiting. Maybe it's a project you've been too scared to start. Maybe it's a conversation you've been avoiding. Maybe it's a dream you've tucked away because life got in the way. Whatever it is, this is your moment to launch. I want you to feel the weight of this. You're not just a woman with a job, a family, or a to-do list. You're a visionary. You're a creator. You're a force of nature with the power to reshape the world. I'm not here to tell you it's all going to be smooth sailing. I'm here to tell you it's worth the fight. When I look at the stars, I don't just see lights in the sky. I see humanity's future, a civilization spanning planets, thriving, exploring, dreaming. What do you see when you look at your future? Do you see a woman who settles or a woman who soars? The choice is yours, and it starts right now. This message isn't just for you. It's for every woman who's ever felt small, overlooked, or underestimated. It's for the single mom working two jobs, the entrepreneur pitching to a room full of doubters, the artist pouring her soul into work no one's seen yet. I see you, I believe in you. And I'm telling you, don't let this moment pass. Don't let the world dim your light. You're standing at the edge of something extraordinary, and I'm here to push you to leap. So, what's it going to be? Will you play it safe, or will you bet on yourself? I'm betting on you. Let's make the impossible real together. All right, let's get real. You're still here, still listening, and that tells me something. You're not backing down. You've got that spark, that hunger to be more, to do more. But I know it's not all sunshine and rainbows out there. Life throws up walls, big, ugly, intimidating walls, and for women like you, those walls can feel like mountains. I'm Elon Musk, and I've faced my share of barriers, but I'm here to tell you, those walls, they're not as solid as they seem. You're stronger than you think, and you've got what it takes to smash through them. This isn't about ignoring the obstacles or pretending they don't exist. It's about staring them down, understanding them, and then blowing them to pieces with the sheer force of your will. Let's talk about those barriers for a second. As a woman, you're probably no stranger to the extra weight the world piles on your shoulders. Maybe it's the colleague who talks over you in meetings, the boss who underestimates your ideas, or the endless juggling act of career, family, and everything else society expects you to nail with a smile. I've seen it, women in my companies, like the engineers at SpaceX or the designers at Tesla, who have to fight twice as hard to be heard. And Don't get me started on the inner voices, the ones whispering that you're not qualified, not ready, not enough. I get it. I've had my own battles with doubt. When I was pouring every dime I had into SpaceX, there were moments I wondered if I was in over my head. When Tesla was on the brink of bankruptcy in 2008, I lay awake at night, heart pounding, questioning if I'd bet on the wrong horse. But here's the truth, those doubts, those barriers, they're not the boss of you. You are. Let's break this down. The world loves to tell women to stay in their lane, to play it safe, to not make waves. But you know what? Waves are how progress happens. Think about the ocean. Calm waters don't move ships. Storms do. You're the storm. Every time you speak up, every time you push back, every time you refuse to shrink, you're shifting the tides. I've been called reckless, arrogant, even delusional for my goals, building reusable rockets, making electric cars mainstream, linking brains to computers, but I didn't let those labels stop me. And you shouldn't let the labels the world slaps on you, too emotional, too ambitious, too anything, define your path. You're not here to fit in. You're here to stand out. I want you to think about a moment in your life when you felt stuck, when the odds were stacked against you. Maybe it was a job you didn't get, a dream you shelved, or a time when someone made you feel small. Hold that moment in your mind. Now, I'm going to tell you something. That moment doesn't own you. It's just a data point, a blip in the grand experiment of your life. Um, at SpaceX, every rocket failure was a data point. When our first three launches crashed and burned, literally, I didn't throw in the towel. I dug into the data, learned what went wrong, and built something better. Your setbacks, they're data points too. That rejection, that criticism, that time you felt like giving up, they're not the end of your story. They're the raw material for your comeback. Here's something I've learned. Strength isn't about never feeling weak. It's about what you do when you're down. Women, especially, have this incredible resilience. You balance so much work, kids, relationships, dreams, all while the world expects you to make it look effortless. That's not just strength, that's superpower level grit. So I've seen it in my mom, May, who raised three kids while building her own career, never letting the world tell her she couldn't do both. I've seen it in the women at Tesla who work insane hours to get cars out the door, or at Neuralink, tackling problems that sound like sci-fi. You have that same grit. Maybe you're a single mom grinding through long days, or a student burning the midnight oil, or an entrepreneur pitching your heart out to investors who don't get it yet. That's not weakness. That's the kind of strength that moves mountains. Now, let's talk about those inner barriers, the ones in your head. Doubt is a sneaky bastard. It creeps in when you're tired, when you're stressed, when you compare yourself to others. I've been there. When I was a kid, I'd read about inventors and explorers, and part of me wondered if I could ever measure up. Even now, with all we've done at SpaceX and Tesla, I have moments where I question if I'm pushing too far, too fast. But here's how I deal with doubt. I treat it like a bug in the code. You don't let a bug crash your program. You debug it. You analyze it, figure out where it's coming from, and fix it. Your doubts? Debug them. Ask yourself, why do I feel this way? Is it based on facts, or is it just fear wearing a clever disguise? 9 times out of 10, it's fear. And fear is just your brain trying to keep you safe, not keep you great. Let me share a story. Back in 2002, when I founded SpaceX, I wasn't a rocket scientist. I was a guy with a physics degree and a crazy idea to make space travel affordable. The experts, literal rocket scientists, told me it was impossible. The aerospace industry was dominated by giants like Boeing and Lockheed Martin, with billions in contracts and decades of experience. I was an outsider, a nobody in their world, but I didn't let that stop me. I read textbooks, hired brilliant people, and learned as I went. By 2008, after three failed launches, we were out of money and out of time. But we kept going, and on the fourth try, Falcon 1 reached orbit. That was the moment I knew no barrier is too big if you're willing to keep pushing. You've got your own giants to slay. Maybe it's a toxic workplace, a lack of resources, or just the weight of expectations. But you can slay them. You've got the tools, your mind, your heart, your unbreakable spirit. I want you to think about the women who inspire you. Maybe it's someone like Kamala Harris, breaking ceilings in politics, or Serena Williams, dominating a sport while defying every stereotype. They didn't get there by waiting for the world to roll out the red carpet. They got there by kicking down doors. You've got doors to kick down too. Maybe it's the door to a boardroom, a studio, or even your own confidence. Whatever it is, don't knock politely, kick it in. The world might not be ready for you, but that's their problem, not yours. When I started Tesla, The auto industry wasn't ready for electric cars. They laughed. They doubted. Now look at where we are. Electric vehicles are the future, and Tesla's leading the charge. You can lead your own charge. Whatever your field, whatever your dream. Here's a practical tip. Start small, but start now. When I began working on Tesla, we didn't try to build a million cars overnight. We built one, the Roadster. It was flawed, expensive, and took everything we had, but it was a start. What's your Roadster? What's one small step you can take today toward your big dream? Maybe it's signing up for a course, sketching out a business idea, or just telling one person about your vision. Small steps compound, they build momentum. Before you know it, you're not just moving, you're unstoppable. I've seen it happen. At Neuralink, we started with tiny experiments, connecting neurons to chips. Now we're working toward curing paralysis. Your small step could be the spark that lights up the world. Let's address the elephant in the room. The world isn't always fair. Women face biases I'll never fully understand: glass ceilings, double standards, the constant pressure to prove yourself. I've seen it in my companies, and I'm working to change it, but it's still there. That's why your strength matters so much. Every time you push through, you're not just breaking barriers for yourself, you're clearing the path for the women who come after you. You're showing your daughters, your sisters, your friends what's possible. When I look at my kids, I want them to grow up in a world where no one's dreams are limited by who they are. You're part of building that world. Every time you refuse to quit, you're rewriting the rules. So here's my challenge to you. Identify one barrier, external or internal, that's holding you back. Name it, write it down, then make a plan to attack it. Maybe it's a skill you need to learn, a conversation you need to have, or a belief you need to let go. Treat it like a mission. At SpaceX, every launch is a mission with clear objectives, timelines, and contingencies. Your life is your mission. Plan it, execute it, and don't stop until you're through that wall. You're not just a woman with a dream, you're a force of nature, a pioneer, a creator of the future. I'm betting on you, and I know you're stronger than you think. Let's keep going. This is just the beginning. All right, you're still with me, and that means you're ready to go bigger. You've felt the spark, you've faced the barriers, and now it's time to unleash the kind of vision that changes everything. I'm Elon Musk, and I've built my life on dreams that sound insane to most people: colonizing Mars, revolutionizing transportation, merging human brains with AI. But here's the thing. The impossible isn't a dead end. It's a starting line. You, the incredible woman listening to this, have a vision inside you that's just as bold, just as world-changing. Maybe you haven't dared to say it out loud yet. Maybe it feels too big, too wild, too far out of reach. But I'm here to tell you, that's exactly the kind of dream you should be chasing. The world doesn't change because of small ideas. It changes because women like you dare to dream the impossible. Let's get one thing straight. Big visions aren't about playing it safe. They're about looking at the world and saying, this can be better, and I'm going to make it happen. When I started SpaceX, my goal wasn't just to build a rocket company. I wanted to make humanity a multiplanetary species. That's not a goal you jot down on a napkin and forget. It's a vision that consumes you, that keeps you up at night, that makes you question your sanity, but also makes you feel alive. What's your version of that? What's the dream that makes your heart race, that feels so big it scares you? Maybe it's launching a company that disrupts an industry, creating a movement that empowers others, or inventing something that solves a problem no one else has tackled. Whatever it is, it's not just a daydream, it's your mission. I know what you're thinking. Elon, my life isn't set up for big dreams. I've got bills to pay, kids to raise, a job that's eating up my time. I hear you. When I was starting out, I didn't have a trust fund or a fancy network. I was sleeping on a couch, coding late into the night, eating dollar store macaroni to keep my first company, Zip2, alive. But I never let my circumstances define my vision. Your circumstances, whether it's a demanding job, a tight budget, or a world that doesn't always see your potential, aren't chains. They're just the terrain you navigate to get to your destination. And let me tell you, women are some of the best navigators out there. You juggle so much, adapt to chaos, and keep moving forward. That's not just skill, that's the raw material of a visionary. Think about the women who shaped history with their audacious dreams. Take someone like Ada Lovelace, who in the 1800 saw the potential of computers long before anyone else, writing the first algorithm, or Malala Yousafzai, who at 15 took a bullet for her vision of education for girls and kept fighting. These women didn't let the world's limitations stop them. They saw a future no one else could and made it real. You've got that same power. Maybe your vision is starting a tech company that empowers women in STEM, or writing a book that inspires a generation, or building a community that lifts up those around you. Whatever it is, it's not too big. The only thing that's too big is the fear that keeps you from starting. Here's a story from my journey. When I pitched the idea of reusable rockets, the experts guys who'd been in aerospace for decades told me it was a pipe dream. Rockets were single use, they said. Too expensive, too complex to reuse, but I couldn't shake the vision of a future where space travel was as routine as flying from New York to LA. So, we built the Falcon 9, designed it to land back on Earth. The first attempts, total disasters, rockets crashing into the ocean, exploding on impact, but every failure got us closer. In 2015, we landed a Falcon 9 booster for the first time, and I'll never forget the roar of my team as that rocket touched down. That was the moment I knew. No dream is too big if you're willing to keep iterating. What's your Falcon 9? What's the dream you're ready to fight for, no matter how many times you have to try? Let's talk practical steps. Big visions don't happen by wishing, they happen by building. Start by writing down your dream, not just a vague idea, get specific. If you want to start a business, what problem does it solve? If you want to create art, what message does it carry? If you want to lead, who are you inspiring? I'm a nerd for first principles thinking, breaking things down to their core truths. When I started Tesla, I didn't just think electric cars. I thought about energy efficiency, battery chemistry, and scaling production. Your vision needs that kind of clarity. Write it down, sketch it out, talk it through with someone you trust, then break it into steps. Maybe step one is researching your industry, or taking a coding class, or pitching your idea to one person. Each step is a brick in the foundation of your future. Now, let's address the naysayers. Every big vision attracts skeptics. When I announced we'd build a gigafactory to produce batteries at scale, people said it was impossible, too expensive, too ambitious. But we built it, and now it's powering the electric vehicle revolution. You'll face skeptics too, maybe a boss who doesn't see your potential, a friend who thinks you're aiming too high, or even family who wants you to be realistic. Don't let them dim your light. Their doubts are about their limitations, not yours. Surround yourself with people who fuel your vision, mentors, friends, communities who get it. At SpaceX, I hired people who believed in the mission, not just the paycheck. Find your tribe, and they'll help you carry the load when the going gets tough. Here's something else. Big visions require sacrifice. I've given up a lot of time with family, sleep, stability to chase my dreams. I'm not saying you have to live like a monk, but you'll need to prioritize. Maybe it means saying no to distractions, cutting out toxic relationships, or investing time in learning over scrolling social media. Women are often expected to put everyone else first, but I'm telling you, your vision deserves priority. It's not selfish to chase your dreams, it's essential. When you shine, you light the way for others. Your success as a founder, artist, leader, or mother doesn't just lift you, it lifts everyone around you. Let's zoom out for a second. The world is at a turning point. We're facing challenges, climate change, inequality, technological disruption that need bold thinkers. Women like you are critical to solving these problems. Your perspective, your creativity, your resilience are what the world needs right now. When I think about the future, I don't just see rockets or cars. I see a world where people like you, women with fire in their hearts, are leading the charge. Maybe you'll invent a new way to educate kids, or pioneer sustainable energy, or create a platform that gives voice to the voiceless. Whatever it is, it starts with believing your vision matters. One last thing, don't wait for the perfect moment. When I started Neuralink, we didn't have all the answers about brain-computer interfaces. We just started running experiments, failing, learning, iterating. Your vision doesn't need to be fully formed to begin. Take the leap, even if it's messy, even if you're scared, especially if you're scared. That's when you know you're onto something big. So, what's your impossible dream? What's the vision that's been tugging at your soul? Name it, claim it, and start building it today. The universe is waiting for you to step up, and I'm rooting for you to make it happen. Okay, you're still here, and that means you're not just dreaming, you're ready to fight for it. You've got a vision that's bigger than the stars, and you're starting to see through the barriers holding you back. But let's talk about the real work, the gritty, messy, sometimes soul-crushing part of the journey, perseverance. I'm Elon Musk, and if there's one thing I've learned from building rockets, cars, and tunnels, it's that nothing worth doing comes without a fight. You, the incredible woman listening, are in that fight right now. Maybe you're battling self-doubt, juggling a million responsibilities, or picking yourself up after a dream went sideways. I'm here to tell you, Every stumble, every failure, every moment you feel like quitting is not the end. It's a stepping stone, and you're tougher than the toughest steel we use at SpaceX. Let's start with a hard truth. The road to your vision is going to be brutal. It's not a straight shot down a sunny highway. It's a rocky trail full of potholes, detours, and storms. I know this because I've lived it. When Tesla was teetering on the edge in 2008, we were burning through cash faster than a rocket burns fuel. I was sleeping in the factory, living on borrowed money, and staring down the barrel of bankruptcy. Every day felt like a punch to the gut. And SpaceX? Don't get me started. Our first three rocket launches were spectacular failures, explosions that cost us millions and nearly killed the company. I remember standing in the control room watching our dreams go up in flames, feeling like I'd let everyone down. But here's what I learned. Failure doesn't define you, it refines you. As a woman, you're probably no stranger to this kind of grind. Maybe you're balancing a career with raising kids, feeling like you're failing at both. Some days, maybe you've pitched an idea and been shot down or taken a risk that didn't pan out. Maybe you're facing societal pressures that make you feel like you have to be perfect, perfect mom, perfect professional, perfect everything. I see you. That pressure is real and it's heavy. But let me tell you something. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep going. Every woman who's ever changed the world, think of someone like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, fighting for equality through decades of setbacks, didn't get there by never falling. They got there by getting back up again and again. Here's a story from my journey. In 2018, Tesla was in what I called production hell with the Model 3. We were trying to ramp up to 5,000 cars a week, and everything that could go wrong did. Machines broke, suppliers failed, and I was sleeping on the factory floor, surrounded by robots and car parts. The press was tearing us apart, saying Tesla was done. I won't lie, there were moments I wanted to walk away, but I didn't. Why? Because I knew that every problem was a puzzle, and every puzzle had a solution. We tweaked, we iterated, we worked 24/7. By mid 2018, we hit our goal. That struggle taught me that perseverance isn't about brute force, it's about staying in the game, solving one problem at a time until the impossible becomes reality. Your struggles, they're puzzles too. Solve them one piece at a time. Let's talk about what perseverance looks like for you. Maybe you're working a job that doesn't light you up, but you're saving for a dream, a business, a degree, a new life. Maybe you're raising kids while trying to carve out time for your passion. Maybe you faced rejection and no from an investor, a publisher, or even a loved one who doesn't get your vision. Those moments hurt. They make you question everything. But they're also the moments that build you. Think of it like forging steel. The fire and hammer don't weaken it, they make it stronger. Every time you keep going, you're forging yourself into someone unstoppable. Here's a practical tool. Embrace the iterative mindset. At SpaceX, we don't aim for perfection on the first try. We build, test, fail, learn, repeat. When our Starship prototypes kept exploding, we didn't sulk. We analyzed the wreckage, adjusted the design, and tried again. You can do the same. If your first attempt at something, a startup, a project, a new skill doesn't work, don't see it as failure. See it as iteration. Ask, what did I learn? What can I do better? Maybe you launched a side hustle and it flopped. Dig into why wrong market, bad timing, not enough prep, then tweak and try again. Each iteration makes you sharper, smarter, closer to your goal. Now, let's address the unique challenges women face. The world often expects you to carry more emotionally, mentally, physically. You're the one people lean on, the one who keeps things together, all while chasing your own dreams. That's not just hard, it's heroic. I've seen women at Tesla and SpaceX juggle insane workloads while raising families, mentoring others, and still pushing the needle forward. Take Gwynne Shotwell, SpaceX's COO. She runs a multi-billion-dollar company, negotiates with NASA, and makes it look effortless. She's not superhuman, she's just relentless. You have that same relentlessness. Maybe it shows up when you're up late finishing a project after putting the kids to bed, or when you keep pitching your idea despite the no's. That's not just perseverance, that's power. One thing I've learned, community matters. You don't have to do this alone. When I was struggling with Tesla, I leaned on my team, my friends, even my family. Find your people, the ones who believe in your vision, who'll cheer you on or call you out when you need it. Maybe it's a mentor who's been where you want to go, a friend who gets your hustle, or an online community of women chasing big dreams. They're your launch pad, your ground crew. I've built companies by surrounding myself with brilliant minds who challenge me to be better. You need that too. Seek out women who inspire you, who've walked the path you're on. Their stories will remind you that you're not alone, and their wins will fuel your fire. Here's another tip: celebrate the small wins. When we landed our first Falcon 9 booster, it wasn't a trip to Mars, but it was a massive step. We threw a party not because we'd won the war, but because we'd won a battle. Your journey is full of battles. Maybe you finished a course, landed a meeting, or just got through a tough day without giving up. Celebrate those. They're proof you're moving forward. Keep a journal, write down your wins, no matter how small. When the road gets rough, and it will, those wins will remind you how far you've come. Let's talk about the bigger picture. Your perseverance isn't just about you, it's about the ripple effect. Every time you push through, you're showing the world what women can do. You're inspiring your kids, your peers, the next generation. When I look at my daughter, I want her to grow up in a world where women don't just break glass ceilings, they build new skies. Your journey is part of that. Every time you refuse to quit, you're carving a path for others. So keep going, not just for you, but for every woman who needs to see what's possible. Your perseverance is a beacon, a signal that the impossible is within reach. So here's my challenge. Pick one thing you've been tempted to quit on: a project, a goal, a dream. Commit to one more step. Maybe it's sending one more email, making one more call, or spending one more hour learning. That step is your rebellion against giving up. It's your declaration that you're in this for the long haul. You're not just a woman with a dream, you're a warrior, a builder, a force that the universe can't ignore. Keep fighting, keep iterating, keep moving. The world is waiting for what you'll do next. You've made it this far, and that's no small thing. You've felt the pull of your defining moment, smashed through barriers, dreamed bigger than the stars, and learned to see failure as fuel. Now, it's time to move. I'm Elon Musk, and I'm not here to give you a feel-good speech that fades by tomorrow. I'm here to light a fire under you, to get you out of your seat and into action. You, the extraordinary woman listening, have everything you need to write a story that echoes through time. Not next week, not next year, right now. The world isn't waiting for you to feel ready. It's waiting for you to show up, to take that first step, to make your mark. Your story isn't just about you, it's about the impact you'll have, the lives you'll touch, the future you'll shape. So let's talk about how you start writing that story today. Action is the difference between dreamers and doers. I've met a lot of people with big ideas, brilliant, world-changing ideas, but ideas alone don't build rockets or cars. Action does. When I started SpaceX, I didn't have a master plan etched in stone. I had a goal to make space travel affordable and a willingness to dive in, even when I didn't know all the answers. I read textbooks, hired engineers, and started building. When we launched Tesla, we didn't wait for the perfect battery tech or a booming market. We built the Roadster, flaws and all, and got it out there. That's what you need to do. Start. Maybe you want to launch a startup, write a novel, or advocate for a cause. Whatever it is, don't wait for the stars to align. The stars don't align you, align them. Let's get practical. Action starts with a single move. Think about your vision, the big, bold dream you've been carrying. What's one thing you can do today to bring it closer? If you're dreaming of starting a business, maybe it's registering a domain name or sketching a logo. If you're an artist, maybe it's posting one piece online, even if it's not perfect. If you're a leader, maybe it's scheduling a meeting to pitch your idea. I call this the minimum viable action, the smallest step that gets you moving. At Neuralink, we didn't start by building brain-computer interfaces for humans. We started with rats, testing tiny electrodes, learning as we went. Your first step doesn't have to be huge, it just has to be real. One step leads to another, and before you know it, you're not just dreaming, you're doing. Now, let's talk about the stakes. As a woman, you're not just acting for yourself. You're acting for every woman who's been told her dreams are too big, her voice too soft, her place too small. I've seen the women in my companies, engineers, designers, leaders who fight every day to be heard in rooms where they're outnumbered. Their courage inspires me, and it should inspire you. Every action you take is a statement. It says, I'm here and I'm not backing down. It's not just about your startup, your art, or your career. It's about showing the world what women can do. Think of someone like Angela Merkel, who led Germany through crises with quiet strength, or Beyoncé, who built an empire by owning her voice. Your actions, big or small, are part of that legacy. Here's a story from my world. In 2016, we were working on the Hyperloop concept, a crazy idea for high-speed transport in vacuum tubes. I didn't have the bandwidth to build it myself, So I open sourced the idea, shared it with the world, and invited others to run with it. That was my action, a single move that sparked competition, startups, and real progress. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. You don't need to have every piece in place to act. Maybe you're a teacher with an idea to revolutionize education. Start by testing it in your classroom. Maybe you're a mom with a business idea. Start by talking to one potential customer. Maybe you're an activist. Start by posting your message online. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates miracles. Let's address the fear of starting. I know it's real. When I greenlit the boring company to dig tunnels under cities, part of me thought, this is nuts. Traffic's bad, but digging tunnels? Really? But I acted anyway, bought a boring machine, started digging in a parking lot. It was messy, slow, and full of unknowns, but it was a beginning. You'll have those moments too when your idea feels too big, too risky, too exposed. Women especially face this pressure to be polished, to have it all figured out before stepping forward. Forget that. Messy is okay. Imperfect is okay. Starting is what matters. The first Tesla Roadster was clunky, expensive, and had a range of only 245 miles. But it was a start, and it paved the way for the Model S, the Model 3, the future. Here's another tip: build systems to keep you moving. I'm a systems guy. Everything at SpaceX and Tesla is about processes that scale. Your life needs systems too. Set a goal for one action a day, even if it's small. Block off 30 minutes to work on your dream, no matter what. Use tools, calendars, apps, notebooks to track your progress. When we were scaling Tesla production, we had daily stand up meetings to stay on track. You can do the same, check in with yourself or a friend every day. Accountability keeps you honest, and don't underestimate the power of routine. I work long hours because I've built habits that keep me focused. You can build habits that keep your dream alive, whether it's writing 100 words a day, learning one new skill a week, or pitching one idea a month. Let's talk about impact. Your actions don't just shape your life, they shape the world. When I started X, my goal was to create a platform where ideas could flow freely, where truth could cut through noise. Every tweet, every post, every voice matters. Your voice matters too. Maybe your action is sharing your story, inspiring someone else to take a leap. Maybe it's mentoring a young woman who needs to see what's possible. Maybe it's creating something, a product, a movement, a family that changes lives. Women have a unique gift for building communities, for connecting people, for creating change that lasts. Use that gift. Your actions are ripples that can become waves. One final story. In 2020, when COVID hit, Tesla pivoted to build ventilators. We didn't know much about medical devices, but we saw a need and acted. We took parts from Model 3 Second, worked with hospitals, and got ventilators into ICUs. It wasn't our expertise, but it was our responsibility. You have a responsibility too, to your dreams, to your potential, to the women watching you. Don't let fear or doubt steal that from you. Act now, even if it's small, even if it's scary. Every rocket we launch, every car we build, started with a single decision to move forward. Your story starts with that same decision. So here's my challenge: take one action today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Write that email, make that call, sketch that idea, take that class, make it real. You're not just a woman with a dream, you're a creator, a leader, a force rewriting the future. The world needs you to act, to show up, to write a story that inspires generations. I'm betting on you, and I know you've got this. So go out there and make it happen. Your story starts now.